Hello, my name is M. Jason Graham, and this is Writing. This is Writing is brought to you by mjgstorycreation.com. Go to mjgstorycreation.com for helpful tips on how to turn your idea into an epic story today. I am very excited because we are talking about and breaking down Adventure, the story unit Adventure, all week long. And so in order to help you guys remember the reason for the 4 acts in their structure, I've come up with a acronym because code, because we need to crack the code on how to create a great adventure that our audience is going to be excited about and enthralled with. And so code stands for capacity, opportunity, downfall, evolution. And so, it being the first day on adventure, we're going to talk about capacity. Now, capacity is just that. The first act of an adventure is to show that your character, the protagonist, has the capacity to go on this journey, which is to say, they have both the internal workings as far as their psyche and what is happening in their lives, their life experiences, as well as externally, their reflection, if you will, as far as the physicality and their resources. Now, this is very important because we don't want to send a character on an adventure that they don't have an opportunity or they don't have a chance of succeeding on. And keep in mind that we're talking about they have the capacity to do it. That doesn't necessarily mean that they will. Chances are people like happy endings, so there's that. But the idea is that there are morality plays in which the protagonist fails to learn the lesson, and those are just as valid. But we are talking about the capacity to learn the lesson. So let's go over the breakdown. Of course, we have our first bookend, opening scene. Then we have our purpose. Then the communities, one by one. 3 communities for an adventure. And of course, in that third community, we introduce the character stumbling block. Then a shift occurs, a shift in the character's life, something that changes it and causes things to go completely out of balance. And then the character must do what he or she needs to do in order to adapt to the shift. So we're going to have a few scenes showing the adaptation. Now keep in mind, it doesn't have to be a large thing. They do have to be successful at it, but it doesn't have to be a great big thing. Remember, we're only showing the capacity of the character to go on the adventure. So when I think about The Wizard of Oz, okay, with Dorothy. Now, she runs into a situation, I guess I can come back to this. She runs into a situation because we know that the purpose and the expectation is there's no place like home. Home is where the heart is. So we get introduced to all of her communities and her stumbling block, which is the fact that she is stubborn. She has the shift, which is, of course, the Wicked Witch or the Miss Gulch wanting to put her dog down, put Toto to death. And so she adapts to it. When Toto escapes, she decides to run away. So during her adaptation, we see when she's on the road that she's not scared or fearful. She's smart. She is tough. And those are the little things that we're going to need her to see her do. That way, when she goes into Oz, we're not worried about her being this scared little girl in this strange world. We're worried more about Oz and less so much about her, per se, at least at the time. So, what this does is the adaptation, the world is different because of the shift, so it opens up a new opportunity. And so the character takes that new opportunity, and of course, the second bookend is them actually physically taking the new opportunity. One more thing about the new opportunity. You cannot trick, you should not trick the protagonist into taking the journey. It's a cheat. Some people, some stories have done it, and if anything, if crafted well, can be done. But it's my guide that if you do it, you shouldn't do it. But if you do it, it should be the only time that the character, your protagonist, is fooled by a trick like that, because it weakens the protagonist every time that you do it. Last thing, we know that adventures have 16 emotional transitions, 4 acts. You can do the math. That's 4 emotional transitions per act for the protagonist. We're not talking about emotional transitions for anybody else. Referring to the protagonist. So, no more than that, no less. If you do 3 or you do 5, you throw things off balance, and the rhythm will be off for the audience. They may not know what's going on, but they'll feel it in the pacing. Well, my name is M. Jason Graham, and this is Writing. It's brought to you by mjgstorycreation.com. Go to mjgstorycreation.com and get your free 1-hour consultation. Turn that idea into an epic story today. I'll see you next time.